Welcome to Jane Jackson Careers, a podcast to inspire you to take your career to the next level. In this podcast, I chat with amazing professionals who are leaders in their field and find out what's made them a success. Many of them have successfully made changes in their careers. They may have changed industry, changed job function, made big city or country moves, or taken the huge leap into entrepreneurship. I also share practical and actionable career tips for those who want to explore what to do next in their career and aren't sure about what steps to take to get moving. Subscribe to this podcast for regular updates or visit me at janejacksoncoach.com.
This is Colin Gray from thepodcasthost.com and you're listening to Jane Jackson Careers.
Well, hello and welcome back to my Careers podcast. Today, I'm very lucky to have on the show a very special lady, Deb Carr. As a speaker, blogger, entrepreneur, radio host, marketer, networker, and consultant, Deb Carr is without question one of the highest skilled networkers in Australia and is ranked by Kred as a top 5% influencer in the online space. Deb is the editor and founder of successful Sydney lifestyle blog sydneychic.com.au, which she founded in late 2013 and quickly grew it to be a recognised blog in Sydney. With a passion for helping others build their profiles, Deb works with a diverse group of clients and is a specialist in developing successful social media marketing and publicity campaigns for sole traders, small businesses and speakers. Deb has achieved her amazing success despite tragedy and adversity affecting her life, having overcome Crohn's disease and dealing with the tragic loss of her brother to suicide, and has turned these negatives into positives by writing on the impact of suicide on those left behind, inspiring others to better health through diet as well. Now, let's welcome Deb Carr. Good morning, Deb. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, well, I'm really looking forward to chatting to you because you've had such a varied and challenging as well as very exciting life. And I was saying to you a little bit this morning when we first got in touch with each other that I really admire your resilience and self-reliance and really being able to reinvent and make everything that you touch a success. So how about, to kick us off, let's talk about your career, because this podcast is all about careers and career progression after all. So when you were a little girl, Deb, what career did you dream about?
I dreamt about being a mountain climber.
Ah, okay.
I really did. I wanted to climb Mount Everest.
Mm-hmm. And did you?
No. I dreamt it though.
It was a good dream, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And was that one of many dreams, or was that the burning ambition?
Oh, the other one, I wanted to be a model, top model, but that never happened either.
We've got to have our dreams, though, don't we?
Yeah.
And so, from being a little girl and being Mount Everest mountain climber and a model, a little bit later, when you were, say, in your early 20s, how did your career progress?
Well, I left school very early. I didn't even get school certificate, so I left school just before my 16th birthday, and I ended up as a receptionist, and then I worked in admin jobs until I was 40, when I decided I'm going to have a complete career change and go into business for myself.
Wow. So at the age of 40, you decided to take control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what prompted this decision to go into your own business and move into entrepreneurship?
Well, I think because I left school so early and I didn't have any qualifications, I thought I would never really get anywhere in my career. And when I turned 40, I met a professional speaker, and I dated him, and that sort of progressed to me starting a speaking bureau. So I just decided I'd just give it a go.
Oh,
and I did.
Wow. So the speaking bureau. So tell me about that. How did it work, and what did you do?
Well, I ended up having Ron on my books first, and then I had his friends who were speakers started to come on my books. So I was like an agent. So I would then go and pitch to clients to book these speakers for conferences or training, and then they would pay me a commission for doing that.
And how long did you run this business?
For 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And so now you are the Sydney lifestyle blogger.
Yeah.
sydneychic.com.au. So what made you make the switch from running the Speakers Bureau to becoming the Sydney lifestyle blogger?
When I started my bureau, I had to do all my own marketing because I had no money to run a business at all. Typical me. And so I started learning. I taught myself everything. So all my websites, all the online marketing, everything I do, I've taught myself. And I still do all my own websites, still do it all myself. So and then I started blogging probably around 2006 because I did do a little bit of on the side, I actually got another job as a recruiter. So I've been in recruitment since 2007 and stopped that about a couple of years ago as well. And because I had to do my own marketing, I did my own newsletter and I started blogging about recruiting, sales, motivation, inspiration. And that's how I started blogging. And then in 2013, I decided I wanted to be a lifestyle blogger. So I started Sydney Chic, and I had no idea it would grow so fast.
So starting out, leaving school very early and then going into reception, administration for many years and suddenly getting inspired to start your own business, which obviously, having run it for 10 years, must have been very, very successful. And then getting into recruitment as well and into blogging. It's almost like you were inspired to do something different and reinvent yourself as the years went by.
Yeah, it's just, I always felt that I'm actually on this planet to inspire people. That's what I think I'm here for. And I've actually, I have another blog, as you know. I do have an inspirational blog too. I think I'm just one of these people that take risks, and I'm not scared to have a go and better myself. So when I started Sydney Chic, I thought, oh, it'd be great to have this lifestyle blog, but I didn't realise it would grow so fast. And I had it ranking #1 on Google, like the search term Sydney lifestyle blog, in a matter of months, and it's stayed there ever since.
Wow. And so what do you think was the secret to the success of the Sydney lifestyle blog?
I think it's because I'm a social media marketer. So I just knew I'd already been building a profile for a number of years online. And once I started the blog, I just shared it everywhere on social media and just put it out there. And it's just started to attract a lot of like PR companies, actually. And they started to contact me. And then all of a sudden I was receiving media releases, which I used to write them myself, you know, when I was promoting my own business. And it just grew from that, and then I started to get invited to all these VIP events and red carpet, and just all these products were being sent to me, and it just grew. Like it's quite, I still pinch myself sometimes. It's like
actually it's really interesting, because you wonder sometimes when it comes to a product or a service or a blog or whatever it might be, what is it that causes that tipping point when it's like we're starting out, it's a little bit of a struggle, and then all of a sudden something happens and it just skyrockets?
Yeah, it's I think in this case, it was probably because I was getting a lot of traction from PR companies contacting me, and then I've been seen at a lot of events. And I think my secret too is that I'm quick at posting. So if I've been at an event or I'm reviewing something, it doesn't take me weeks to do it. Like I literally get it up there straight away. And I think that's probably helped me a lot too.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. When there's an event, it's got to be timely, it's got to be topical, because especially in this day and age with social media, things come and go so quickly that you might get lost in the feed if you're not, instantly trending right away.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if someone wanted to, say, get into blogging, what would you recommend that they focus on? What are the most important things about becoming a successful blogger?
Well, I actually teach people how to blog. That's my business actually, is I am a social media marketer, and I think you need to be really passionate about something, and I'm sure you'd agree with this. If you, in your career, whatever you're doing, if you've got passion and you believe in yourself, I think that is the #1 thing. There's a lot of bloggers out there, and the one thing that I've done is I've stuck with it, and I have to date, like the blog's not quite 2 years old, and I've done 700 posts.
Wow.
So that's a lot of writing.
Yeah, that is. That's interesting. So you teach blogging to aspiring bloggers. How do you do this? Is it one-on-one, or do you have a program? Is it online? How does that work?
I do have an online program, but I'm teaching at Sydney Community College, and I also run my own workshops with 3W Social Media. And I just, a couple of weeks ago, I went up to Brisbane and I had about, I think, 10 students in that class. So I just run them through what I do on my everyday job and teach them what to do. And they're all different. Like, some people want to blog for business. For instance, they don't want to be a lifestyle blogger. Some want to blog for a charity. Some want to blog just to raise their own profile. So it just depends what you're blogging about and why you want to do it.
Yeah, and so, I mean, would you say, is it difficult to get into blogging for someone who doesn't know anything about blogging at all?
I think it's easy to get the blog going. It's getting the blog found is the difficult thing, because, you know, there's 16 million websites in the world. So you've got to be pretty clever to be able to get your blog up to rank number 1. So there is a rating called the Alexa ranking, and I think my blog out of the 16 million is something like 384,000 in the world, which is a big number, but compared to 16 million, it's actually not.
Yeah, that's incredible. I didn't realize there were so many blogs. Actually, I've been blogging for a long time as well. However, I haven't had the massive success that you have had. I guess because it's mainly just to do with careers, and it's on my website, and I could probably learn how to promote it a little bit better. Deb, you can help me there, I'm sure.
You just got to, like, I'm as I said, I'm posting most days, and sometimes I might post 2 or 3 in a day. So it's full on.
Yeah. And so when you post, where are the social media outlets that you use and find the most helpful for bloggers?
My favourite platform is Instagram. I love Instagram. I also post on Twitter, LinkedIn. If it's got to be the right blog post for that, so I don't do a lot on LinkedIn. Maybe if it's a charity post I've done or a community post. I do, and Facebook page, of course, and my own personal Facebook. They're the platforms, and Tumblr I also use.
Okay, and why is Instagram your favourite?
I just love the creativity of the photos, and I find people are really nice on Instagram. Like, I just don't know, it's like a community and everyone's happy and lovey-dovey, and that's what I find.
Yeah, I think actually, I mean, with Instagram, because it's such a visual medium as well, you have all these wonderful inspirational memes, and you can actually get to know the people that you follow quite well, because sometimes they post a little bit personal things, or, you know, where they're out for dinner, or maybe it's a beautiful day and they're at the beach, and then if they have an inspirational quote to go with it, it's just really lovely. I find it quite uplifting when I look at Instagram pictures.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I really do like it.
Yeah, whereas with Twitter, I mean, for some people, Twitter's very, very effective, but there's just so much information that keeps coming through all the time that it tends to get lost in the feed at times.
Yes, I'm on Twitter a lot too, but it's mainly now. If I need something if I want to know something in the news, I just go straight to Twitter.
Yeah, no,
information.
Incredible. Now, I find this blogging is really, really fascinating. However, I want to get to know Deb Carr, the woman, a little bit. And in your bio, you've let me know that you've overcome some really big tragedies in your life. What is it that makes you so resilient?
Well, I believe that life is so short, and I think that you should just grab it and do everything that you can to make the most of your time here. I'm lucky that I have a deep spiritual belief that we continue as some sort of energy after this life. So I think that gives me a lot of faith. And I think life is to be fun if you can make it fun, you know. So you can either sink or you can swim. You might as well swim.
Yeah, there must have been some times when it really was quite tough. There's you said that you like to inspire others to better health through diet. So what's the secret there?
Well, I was diagnosed after Gary died. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and that's a very painful disease to have, and some people are terribly badly affected by it. And the medicines that they give you, I didn't want to take. So I decided I would take my health into my own hands. So basically, my diet is gluten-free. I've recently cut out all sugar, and I feel absolutely tremendous. And no salt, except it's not table salt, and basically no flour. Mm-hmm. That's why I live by, and it really works for me.
Wow. Was this something that you came across yourself through experimentation, or was it recommended by a nutritionist?
No, when I was diagnosed, it was a long time ago, 16 years ago, and I didn't have the internet from my memory. So I went to the library and I started studying about this disease because I just knew there was something really wrong with me. And when I finally went back to the doctor, he sat me down and I told him, I said, I've got Crohn's disease, haven't I? And he nearly fell off the chair because he said, how do you know? And I said, I've been to the library. I know. And he said, and I said, I've looked up the medicines and I'm not going on steroids. So we agreed that we would try Deb's method, and Deb's method worked.
Wow. So you almost sort of self-prescribed in a way. It's amazing how nutrition can actually affect your health in such a big way.
I believe it does, and I also believe the mindset. So I had put a belief in my head that I was going to be okay through diet, and I believed it, like I believe in everything I do, And I think that's got a lot to do with not just your health, but your whole, like your career, like everything. You just have to have the belief.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the attitude, isn't it? I know when I'm coaching individuals, and if they're going through a really tough time in their career, I always emphasize that it really is all in your attitude. If you have an attitude that you are going to succeed, and also an attitude of gratitude, I mean, that sounds a bit like a slogan, doesn't it? But it's like really being grateful for everything that you do have rather than focusing on everything that you don't have, then it makes you a much happier person. And also just more aware of all of the positives in your life. And then when you know how good life actually is, because no matter how bad something is, there's always some blessing in it. There's something that we can learn from any kind of adversity. And sometimes it's really hard to see what the blessing is. But later on, sometimes you realize that, this is what I've learned from it. This is how it's made me a better person as well. And I think probably for you, as you say, you're quite a spiritual person with all of the challenges when it comes to your own health and, losing loved ones and just, going through some really tough times in your life. By actually taking control of your own life, you've managed to turn it around, and now you've got this amazingly successful career.
Yeah, well, I remember when Gary died, one of my neighbours said to me, Debbie, you look terrible. Like, I'd lost so much weight.
And Gary is your brother?
My brother, yeah. Gary took his life. And he said to me, don't put your brother behind you, put him beside you and walk on. And those words really resonated with me, and I did. That's what I did. And as you know, I just lost my mum only less than 2 months ago, so that's been a bit of a trying time for me as well. However, as you said about the blessings, I look at what she was going through and I have to think, well, my grief is selfish because I wouldn't want her to still be here suffering so much. So you just have to just walk on and have them in your heart and just every day be great, as you said, be grateful for what you've got.
Yeah. And also there's one thing someone said to me when I lost my mother about 10 years ago. He said, you may have lost her physical presence, but you've gained her eternal spirit. And this is something that I always share with others who are going through, grief and loss as well, because it's so true. It's my mother's spirit is with me and just inside of me, and I can feel her every day. She's right there as well. And just because you're not with someone physically, it doesn't mean that they're not with you spiritually.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And so now tell me about your other blog, the inspirational blog, because you talk about, the meaning of life and all things to do with bettering yourself and accepting your current situation in life in this blog. Where can people find that one?
That blog, well, all my blogs are linked together, but that one's called thejasmineintheforest.com. And that blog I put a lot of my recipes on there that I've created for my own health, and I talk a bit about the suicide and, just life in general. So,
so that's like a life blog, and you've got your lifestyle blog, which is Sydney Chic, and then you've got your life blog, which is the Jasmine in the Forest. What a beautiful name.
It came to me, this sounds really crazy, but that name I was told by I don't know, something came to me and said, you have to write a book called The Jasmine in the Forest. And because I did write the book and I lost a lot of the manuscript, so I decided I would do the book on a blog instead. Because then people can just, read it, and if it helps somebody, then I'm doing a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a beautiful name. It conjures up, a beautiful perfume. It conjures up the forest. It conjures up peace, and I don't know, it makes me smile when I hear the name as well. Yeah,
it was definitely given to me. I was actually going through a really, really hard time at the time, and I needed some hope. So the tagline is hope for living, and I'm doing it not to make money or anything. I'm just doing it to help people with Crohn's or whatever. If it helps, it helps.
Yeah, or any other challenges, because it's always when a problem shared is a problem halved. And just by knowing that someone else has overcome some tough stuff in their lives, it makes it so much easier. For myself, when I was going through a whole lot of changes and transitions as well, because I've gone through divorce and I've lost people through death and 5 country moves, etc. I found that the thing that kept me going was continuing to coach, because the people that I coach were going through redundancy or difficult times in their life, and by helping them, it was actually helping me. So I was coaching in order to help others, but selfishly it was actually benefiting me, because I realized that I wasn't the center of the universe.
Funny that.
I wasn't the only one who had problems. Other people have to deal with stuff as well, and it does help you to get over it by sharing with others and by helping others. And I think the Jasmine in the Forest is obviously a beautiful way to assist others who are going through major challenges too.
Yeah, well, that's what it's there for. So
Yeah. And so now back to the Sydney Chic blog. Tell me about a day in your life as the Sydney Chic blogger. How do you structure your day, and what happens? And tell me all the fun stuff that you do.
Well, most days I have some event or something to do. So I do like restaurant review or an event. So I work from home by choice, because I like to be. I don't like interruptions. I'm a bit selfish like that, and I'm a very, very focused and driven person. So a day would be I get up and I will do my exercise and walk or whatever I do there, and then I start working. And it's not just Sydney Chic. So I usually do the blog stuff in the morning and my client work in the afternoon, because I'm actually also a ghost blogger. I write for other people's blogs as them. And I actually look after their social media as well. So they're my clients. They're actually, that's my business. And so I have to share my time between all that. And then I might go to, like tomorrow I'm going to I've got a media launch tomorrow. So I go and report down there, or I might be invited to an event or to a lunch. It's actually, it amuses me. I find it really, it's funny.
It doesn't sound like work to me, but Deb, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It's so much fun, Jane, and I love what I do. And like I said, I'm very focused and I work very long hours, so it doesn't scare me. And I think because I'm doing what I love, it doesn't feel like work.
Well, exactly. I mean, that saying where if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Yeah, and if honestly, like people talk about work-life balance. Oh, I need to work and I need to have my life. I mean, really, that's rubbish, isn't it? Because if you really enjoy what you do, it because it is your life. What's all this stuff about needing work-life balance? Because you're having fun while you're doing it. It's almost relaxing in a way to be focusing on something that you enjoy so much that happens to be your career.
Yeah, and it's like I've just picked up a couple of new clients. One of them is a hotel, so I'll be doing all their social media. Now that's fun. I love creating graphics, and I love creating websites, and And I'm just very, very blessed that I've found this career path so late in life too.
Yeah, well, you know what? It just shows that you can always reinvent your career, no matter what you start out doing and what happens to you in life. If you've got that positive mental attitude and you think, I'm going to give everything a go, you just never know how well things can turn out.
That's right. Yeah. And sometimes on the path you have to tweak it a bit. Like you just have to make a change and maybe still be on that path, but you just do something a bit different, and that could be the turning point.
Yeah. No, I think your attitude has definitely taken you through to all of the success that you've had. So now, can you tell me, if someone's going to become a successful blogger, what would your top 3 tips for success be?
Top 3 tips, I would say be persistent, work hard, and for my business, like for my clients, I put myself in their shoes. So their reputation is my reputation, and that goes for blogging too. Make sure that you guard your reputation and keep things positive, nice, and just be focused.
Yeah, your reputation always precedes you, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So that's important. So be persistent in all you do, to work hard and make sure that you guard your reputation and to be very aware of what your personal brand is. I guess that's what you're saying.
Very, very aware.
Yeah, because the branding's so important. Well, I have been so lucky to have you on the show today, Deb. Thank you so much for sharing some personal stuff as well as your professional information as well. And so I just want to remind people where to find you. It's sydneychic.com.au.
Yes.
That's your Sydney lifestyle blog.
Yes.
Then we've got the jasmineintheforest.com, which is your beautiful life inspirational blog.
Yes.
And then if they wanted to contact you directly because they've got a question or they want to find out more about your training programs for blogging, how would they get you?
They can get me on my personal website, which is debcar.com, or email me sydney@sydneychic.com.au, or tweet me at sydneychicblog.
Okay, fantastic. Lots of you can't avoid. You'll find it. I bet if you just Google you, Deb. If we just Google you, you'll be there, won't you?
I'll be there. I'm sure.
You were number 1 on Google anyway. So I think that's fantastic. And also, I'll have all of these links on my show notes on my website at janejacksoncoach.com too. So it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, Deb. You are an inspirational lady, and thank you for sharing your career path, because it just shows that anyone can reinvent their career, and if you've got the right attitude, you can make it a massive success.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Deb.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Jane Jackson Careers. Sign up to receive regular career advice at janejacksoncoach.com.